Hey everybody, greetings. It's Bunny Love back again with another review. This one is on Benji and David, My 600-Pound Life, the brothers from Houston, Texas. Both morbidly obese, and they ended up getting weight loss surgery with Dr. Now. I would like to just say, before I even get into this review, I have quite a bit of requests to do reviews on certain people, which I have absolutely no problem with that. You know, I do these videos because I like to do them. It's a lot of fun for me when I have the time. I just wanted to say that I've been getting a request about Lisa, and I'm really kind of iffy about doing a video on her. I'm going to do it. I was iffy about it at first because she's no longer alive. And she did not pass away. When she passed away, it was not on good terms with the doctor. She was not on good terms with the doctor. She really wasn't trying and things of that nature. And I know me. I know that when I do reviews, I'm going to give my honest opinion. And I don't want to offend the family or anything like that, because you'd be surprised. Family and friends, and even the actual cast member that was on the show, they purposely get on YouTube and hunt for reviews that have been done on them. They want to see what people are saying. They want to see what the public is saying. They want to see what the comments are about them. And I don't want to be offensive to someone that is deceased. So that's a lot of the reason why I've kind of like held off on doing a review on her. But I'm going to get that out the way. I am going to do it. I'm going to do it today. But I started working on Benji and David's review. I had to take notes. I had to rewatch it. Let me get into that. So, okay. We started off this episode with David. David was waking up out of bed. David, 700 plus pounds. They start most of their scenes that way. Either the cast member is in the shower or they're getting up out of bed. Okay, so Benji is the brother. He's 500 plus pounds. They both live in Houston, Texas. Let's see. David lives with his girlfriend, and Benji lives nearby with his wife and daughter. Benji was actually more mobile than David. David was the worst off between the two. I really believed, I felt like Benji had a really cocky, arrogant nature. He was cool with it. He was calm. It wasn't like he was blowing up or going crazy with it or being blatantly disrespectful with his arrogance. But I feel like he was a little arrogant toward his brother David because they both were morbidly obese, but David was heavier. David was the biggest one of the two. And not only that, when they talked about their childhood, David talked about how his mother put Benji in beauty pageants, competitions, things of that nature, and he was always winning. He'd get awards, he'd get medals, things of that nature. And David did not. David was not placed in these things because of his weight. He was always the heaviest. And I think with that being the case, I think that some of that contributed to Benji's cockiness. I think some of that contributed to his overall, thought pattern. Like, okay, well, I don't need this surgery as much as he does. Yeah, we're both big, but, David has more of a problem. But this is the thing. Yeah. Benji was smaller, but only by like 100 and some odd pounds. And don't get me wrong, 100 and something pounds is a lot of weight. However, even though David was worse off, they both were in trouble. They both were in trouble. And I think his attitude from the beginning of the episode, it could have been a little bit better. I don't think he should have had that attitude of, oh, well, this is just for David. I don't need this as much as David does. And matter of fact, in the episode, several times he outright said he didn't even want the surgery. I mean, he ended up getting surgery, but he wasn't really all that, you know, he really didn't want it. He went through this with his brother. They made an agreement to go through it together. But David, it seemed to me like David was more serious about trying to lose weight. I think because he hit his rock bottom. He had gotten to a point where he was just like, I can't keep living like this. I got to do something about this. Something's got to give. He was not far from 800 pounds. So he really needed to change. And I'm glad that he got himself together to the point where he did all that was necessary to change. He was quite compliant with the doctor. He was. He did pretty much what Dr. Now wanted him to do. But going in order, okay, so Benji is more mobile than David. David had gotten to the point, the first part of the show where he couldn't hardly move at all. So because of that, Benji was the one that would go out and get the food for the both of them. They'd eat together in the mornings before Benji would leave and go to work. And of course, everything he would go and get was unhealthy. Fast food, drive-through shit, unhealthy stuff that makes you gain weight quick if you eat like that all the time. So yeah, they talked about how Benji had a really decent childhood as far as he was involved in everything, beauty pageants, all that. And you could tell by the way that David talked about it that he felt some type of way about the fact that his brother was always kind of like, in his eyes, mom's prized possession. David talked about his great-grandmother, how his great-grandmother, he was always with her, and she kind of raised him and took care of him while the mother would go off and do things with the other brother as far as beauty pageants, things of that nature. David would always stay behind with great-grandma. And great-grandma took a fall. Not long after the fall, she passed away. And after he lost his great-grandmother, he lost his best friend. David lost his best friend. So that's what caused him to turn to food, because he felt like he had nobody. He had the love of his mother, but from a distance. Mother was always doing things with the other son, according to him. David's first wife left him because of his immobility and his rapidly gaining weight. She didn't want to have anything else to do with him, and took her daughter with her. So that's another thing that contributed to his eating a lot. Benji gained a lot of weight from truck driving. I can see how that's possible. When you're always out on the road like that, you don't have anywhere to cook. You don't really have a stable place to prepare healthy meals. And that's another thing too. Like a lot of these cast members have that issue. They'll leave town, they'll come to Houston to try to get their life in order with losing weight, but they don't have a stable place to stay. Some of them don't have a stable place to stay just yet. So they'll stay in a hotel or an extended stay or something like that, and they don't have the stability of a kitchen and a refrigerator where they can, keep their food fresh and cook healthy meals. They don't have that. So they have to order takeout. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that ordering takeout, they have to always order something unhealthy on the menu. You can go to fast food restaurants and they have healthy stuff. Salads. They don't have the creamy dressing, which is very fattening. A lot of fast food restaurants have the vinaigrette, healthy stuff, but these people choose to order unhealthy. And that's the one thing I never really understood about the doctor. I understand everything about Dr. Now except for that. I don't understand why he's so, he's not really understanding as far as people not having stability, as far as a kitchen, a refrigerator to keep the food fresh. If you're eating a bunch of vegetables and fruits and things of that nature, you need a refrigerator to keep that stuff fresh or it's going to go bad fast. And to just keep buying fruits and vegetables every day, it's going to, because you don't have anywhere to store them. If you buy a bunch and put them in the refrigerator, you don't have anywhere to put them. That's gonna eat up your money. And a lot of these people are coming down to Houston with very limited funds, nowhere to, to really prepare healthy food. And some of these cast members, they tell him that. They're like, well, we don't have anywhere to really, I can't eat healthy like I really want to, because we don't have the stability yet. But, Dr. Now is not trying to hear that. And to an extent, I get what he's trying to say, because if you have to order fast food, order a salad. Every now and again, you can go to the supermarket and pick up a couple things that are healthy. It doesn't always have to be unhealthy stuff. Unhealthy stuff is cheaper. It fits your coin better when you don't have a lot of money. And that's what these people are looking at. They've uprooted their lives. They left their hometown to come to Houston to do what they need to do to lose the weight, and they just don't have the funds for that. So I can kind of see the cast members. I can kind of see where they're coming from where that's concerned. But for the most part, there's still. But I see Dr. Now's point too. There's a way around things. You just have to budget and do things a little bit better, even if you don't have a kitchen or a stove right then and there at that moment until you get settled. Okay, so Benji got married to a nice lady named Amanda. David meets a lady named Mary. They get together, they fall in love, they move in together. Over time, as their relationship progressed, so did David's weight, so she ended up becoming his caretaker. The ride in the car, I'll talk about that a little bit. On the way to see the doctor, David was quite sensitive. He was getting very defensive. He thought people were laughing at him. Sometimes overweight people, I'm talking about that. Sometimes when you're overweight, you are being laughed at by people. That's true. But other times, it's usually just in your own head. I don't think David was being made fun of. Well, at least not by his mom. His mom made that clear. She's like, I'm crying. I'm hurting for you. I'm not laughing at you. I'm crying. You pretty much on death's door. You're doing the right thing by going to see the doctor. I think that Benji's wife was a little hard on David. I do, but everybody has their own opinions. Give a person credit for being able to, for making the first step. He was making the first step. He did he was doing what he needed to do to get down to the doctor to get some help. So give him credit for that. He could have just said fuck it and wallowed in his, self-pity and eating fast food every day. And but he didn't. He did what was right. I really think David, they both ended up being a success by the end of the episode, but I think David put more effort in than Benji. It's not really what I think he did. David did put in more effort. David, you could see throughout the taping of the show, from beginning to the end, you could see the weight loss. You could see it was coming down. You could see that he really was trying, and he didn't have a fucked up attitude about trying to lose the weight. He knew what he needed to do, and he did it. The doctor, when he went to go see the doctor gave him a goal of 30 pounds. You lose 30 pounds in 1 month. David said, I'm going to lose 50. I'm going to lose 50. That boy was ready. He was ready to do the right thing. And somebody like that, you can't be too hard on somebody like that. He was trying. Everybody falls. Everybody makes mistakes. And he got caught up in his hurt and pain throughout life. And he used food as a coping mechanism. But he got it together. It's nothing wrong with falling because we're human. But at some point, you have to get it together. If you're not trying to get it together, if you're not showing that you're putting forth any effort to turn around your fall, then you're opening yourself up for criticism. And Benji, I think it was his arrogance throughout this episode that pissed me off the most. He was low key with it. He was calm with it, but you still could see it. He was arrogant. He felt like, because I'm the smaller of the two, I don't need this as much as he does. He's the one with the problem. I mean, he didn't actually say that, but that was his attitude. To me, that was his demeanor. It was like, whatever. You need this shit. I don't need, like, and that's why he didn't try as much. Now, Dr. Now gave Benji a goal as well. I can't remember exactly how much the goal was. Well, first, when they first got to the doctor, Benji weighed in at 582 pounds. Then David weighed in at 747 pounds. And this is what I wrote. Benji was being cocky about being smaller. Yeah, because he was. I mean, you couldn't tell that guy nothing. He thought he was the shit. The doctor even saw that. He was like, because he thinks he's the smaller of the two, that he doesn't really have as much of a problem. I don't care if you're smaller than somebody else in your family at 582 pounds. At 582 pounds, that's still a problem. Comparing yourself to somebody else doesn't make 582 pounds any better. You're still 582 pounds. You're still super morbidly obese. That's still ridiculous. So to have that attitude was just mind-boggling to me. It was like, there was somebody else on this show that had that same attitude. Clarence from One Ton Family. Actually, that's going to be the next review that I do. That and Lisa's will be next. And then Zaylin. But I think I said her name right, Zaylin. But yeah, and I've been using that episode, those two episodes, a 2-part episode of One Ton Family. I've been using their 2-part episode as examples quite a bit throughout several videos that I've done, because yeah, I mean they've had some stuff in that episode that I think could be used as pretty good examples throughout a lot of these reviews. Clarence, it was 3 of them, 3 siblings, Clarence, Rashonda, and Brandy. Rashonda was the heaviest. She was 800 pounds, 803 pounds to be exact. Brandy was 620, and I think Clarence was like 580 something. And because he was the smaller of the 3, he felt like he just didn't need to do it. He didn't need to lose weight like the other 2. Yes, you do. 500 and something pounds is still bad. You don't compare yourself to others. You just worry about yourself. It's almost kind of like, in comparison to my sibling, I don't need this shit. That's how Clarence was acting in One Ton Family, and this is how Benji is acting in, between him and his brother. It was like, whatever. I don't need this shit. So anyway, the doctor gives them a goal. He gives David 30 pounds to lose, and I do believe Benji had a 30-pound weight loss goal as well to lose. When they come back to the doctor, well, before I even get to that part, I'm gonna talk about how David tried to bullshit the doctor. That's the only thing about David I didn't like in this episode, is he tried to bullshit the doctor, and he tried to make the doctor think that he doesn't eat a lot. I don't know why people do that shit. When they come to this show, they try to make it seem like they don't eat a whole lot. And the doctor is like, how do you not eat a whole lot and you're almost 800 pounds? There's no way. You're taking in at least 10,000 calories. At least 10,000 calories a day. So don't give me that bullshit, So that right there, that's the only thing I didn't like about what David throughout the show, was that he tried to bullshit the doctor. And the doctor's like, ain't no way you're almost 800 pounds and you only eating 1 or 2 meals a day. That's BS. Unless they huge meals, unless they meals are big enough for 4 or 5 people. that's the only, unless you're talking about that size of a meal that size, maybe, but no, you eating way more than 1 or 2 meals a day. So Benji also tried to bullshit about his eating habits as well. The doctor is like, I can see straight through that. You all are eating more than what you claim. Stop lying. If you're morbidly obese, you're definitely not, you're definitely not eating 1 or 2 times a day. And if so, they are extremely high calorie foods, and they are enough for 4 to 5 people, a family size. So, okay, Dr. Now gives his assessment of David and Benji, and he pretty much said what I just said, as far as he can tell that Benji is not going to take it serious, because he feels he's the smaller of the two. He feels he's, he doesn't need it as much as the other one does, which I agree. He was correct. David does seem to be trying hard, not just with the diet, but with being active. So he was moving around a lot. He was exercising. He was eating right. Benji was still cheating on his diet. They showed clips of Benji going to fast food restaurants, fast food drive-thrus, ordering bullshit. So the next weigh-in, Benji goes first, and he weighs in at 571, meaning he didn't lose that much weight, but has the attitude, I don't care, David is more important. David weighs in. Target goal was 50 pounds. The 50 pounds was a target he gave himself. Dr. Now gave him 30-pound weight loss. David said, I'm going to lose 50. So he goes in there and he steps on the scale. He lost 83 pounds. Amazing, amazing. He totally exceeded his expectations, probably Dr. Now's expectation. He did a very good job. He was so pleased at his progress when he stepped on the scale and saw that weight loss. He began to cry. I'm sure that's a good feeling. It's an accomplishment. It's an accomplishment. You lost a bunch of weight that you probably didn't think you could do because you've been eating so fucked up most of your life. But when you stick your mind to something, you can do anything. Concentrate, focus, put your mind to it. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. So because of that 83-pound weight loss, of course, Dr. Now was impressed, and he was immediately approved for surgery because he was able to show the doctor that he was able to control his eating habits. So that was awesome. I was very proud of him. Wish him all the best. Benji only lost 11 pounds, so he was not approved for surgery just yet, and Benji didn't seem to care. I don't think he cared. I don't think he was not pressed about getting weight loss surgery. He didn't care. David, though, and I want to talk a little bit about this. David did not want to go in for surgery because Benji was not approved. I thought that was a very poor choice at first. Why would you not want to get the surgery because of your brother? Your brother was irresponsible, and your brother didn't hold up to his end of the bargain. The two of you agreed to do this together. You did what you were supposed to do as far as losing the weight. Your brother was slacking, so because he's slacking, you want to wait on him because of his being irresponsible. That part I didn't understand. But on the flip side of things, he's still a good brother. I want to do this with my brother, So I can't fault him too much for that, but I just thought that you did this for yourself. Yeah, y'all doing this together, but little brother's not doing what he's supposed to do. So you go ahead and you get it for yourself. But he wanted to wait. Benji wasn't taking it serious. Next goal for Benji that Dr. Now had set was 50-pound weight loss in 2 months. Benji outright said in the voiceover that he just did not want the surgery. It's more for David and not him. So the next scene, David helps Benji move. I guess he found a new place and they were moving. The next weigh-in, Benji only lost 3 pounds. So he still didn't care. He wasn't trying. He was not trying like his brother. He just wasn't trying. David steps on the scale. He loses another 58 pounds. Not as much as the first time, but he's still making progress, But Dr. Now talked about how his weight loss has slowed. David's weight loss has slowed. It was still good. But his weight loss has slowed. So Dr. Now was getting concerned about that. So because your weight loss is slowed, slowing down, you need to get the surgery, because if you don't, you're probably gonna go back to your old eating habits, it can happen. We're human, things happen. I'm not saying that it's right, but things do happen. David took it more seriously. 141 pounds down since he first saw the doctor. Excellent. awesome job. That's the type of shit a lot of us want to see. We want to see transformations. We want to see people that's trying. We want to see people that's putting forth effort, because it's motivation, not just with weight loss, but anything. It shows that people can do whatever they want to do if they are willing to try. It's not always all about weight loss. It's just about effort, putting forth effort when it comes to anything positive. We like to see shit like that. A lot of us viewers like to see that. We don't like to see a train wreck of somebody on the show that's just not, they're not showing us shit. You know what I mean? And Benji was not at first. He eventually got himself together, but you know, a lot of him throughout this show, throughout this episode, he was just lollygagging. He just didn't care. So David does go in for surgery, and the surgery goes very well. Benji finally loses weight by the next weigh-in. He does get approved for the surgery. Next scene, David meets up with his therapist and talks about his issues. His issues had a lot to do with the younger brother getting all the attention when he was younger, and how he was, you know, always kind of in the background, fading into the background, and nobody paid him any attention like that because of his weight gain. And a lot of that hurt him. With that, plus the first wife leaving him and taking their daughter with her, is what drove him to food. So they trying to deal with, you know, they go to he went to go see Dr. Paradise. I actually like Dr. Paradise. I think he's a good he's a good therapist on the show, next to Lola. Those two are probably the best that I've seen on there. And, you know, Dr. Paradise is trying to help him, you know, get through his issues and learn how to deal with them in other ways, so that he will not resort back to food if he's ever feeling sad or depressed or whatever. You know, find another way to channel that. So not long after that, Benji has the surgery. Hurricane Harvey hit Houston and destroyed their home. So I did feel bad for them as far as that was concerned. They lost almost everything. It was very sad. Very, very sad. Home was ruined. And that goes back to what I was saying as far as they did not have a place to really prepare healthy meals. It was just sad. So he felt like he needed to resort back to fast food. I don't know. It's ways around it. It's harder. It's harder when you don't have the convenience of a kitchen and a working refrigerator to keep your food fresh, to cook healthy meals. It's harder. I get it. But you still can deal with it. You just got to figure out how. You got to sit down and actually think about how you're going to get it right. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I guess he just didn't want to do that. He wanted to resort to fast food. So he ended up going backwards. He made some progress. He got the surgery, but he ended up going backwards. Meanwhile, David and Mary moved into a new home. David starts to have toothache pain. So he goes to the doctor. I was a little surprised to see how ruined I was surprised, but then I wasn't. They showed his teeth. His teeth looked really bad. But what I mean, bad as he was eating, he probably was eating a lot of sugary stuff and a lot of carbs to get his teeth to that state. A lot of holes, a lot of cavities. But he got his teeth fixed. He goes to the dentist. The dentist says it's going to take about a good month to get all this right. But he got his teeth fixed, and his confidence, I mean, he turned into a whole totally different person. Lost all the weight. He fixed his teeth. I'm sure his confidence probably, you know, definitely boosted. He had the support of his mother and his girlfriend. Benji and Amanda were staying in a hotel because their home was destroyed by a flood. Benji did make progress. You could see with the both of them. That they did make progress. You can see by the end of the episode that they did both lose weight, and they both did what they were supposed to do. Benji eventually did what he was supposed to do, but David kept on and did the right thing the whole way through. I'm happy for them both. So that's it. I just wanted to give a quick, well, this really isn't quick. I don't know, I'm making my videos 30 minutes long now. I don't know why. I didn't even expect this video to be that long. But, yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts and inputs on this episode. I will be back with, the next My 600 Pound Life reviews will be on Lisa. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I was not. That's one episode I wanted to skip over, because of her being deceased, and I don't want to say anything to really offend the family, but because my reviews, you have some people that do they My 600 Pound Life reviews, and I'm not knocking them. I'm not knocking them at all. That's their style, but they're nice. They're nice to the cast members. I'm not really. My reviews are not nice if the person was bullshitting. If the person was doing what they were supposed to do, then I will give them an awesome review. But if not, I think I only gave one person a nice review, and the person was bullshitting the whole time. That was Sean. Only reason was because I really felt sorry for him. He lost his mother, and his mother was all he had. When she passed away, he had nobody. So he just really had, I'm not going to say he had no other choice, but food was all he knew. He knew nothing, nobody. He wouldn't socialize. He wouldn't go out. I mean, he just totally gave up on life. And I felt really bad for him. So, like, his review was, as far as Where Are They Now, the Where Are They Now episode, I wasn't hard on Sean, because I'm sure that a lot of that was because he lost his best friend, which was his mother. But other than that, if you're one of those cast members that's not doing what you're supposed to do, and you wasting the viewer's time, and most of us viewers want to see transformations. We don't want to see bullshit. Most of us. I ain't saying all of us. Then I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to be nice throughout every review just because I can be. I'm going to be honest. I'm not knocking my honest opinion. I'm not knocking other people's style. That style is just not for me. And I know that if I give a review on Lisa, I'm going to just be honest about how she was throughout the show. She wasn't trying. But she's deceased, and I don't want to be too hard on things. And because I'm sure the family's still grieving. Lisa has not been gone that long. Maybe a year. That's not really that long for somebody to be deceased. Family could still be grieving. But I'm going to go ahead and do it, though. I'm going to do the review on her. Yeah. One Ton Family, Lisa and Zaylin. Those should be the next 3. Look for them. And I'm going to let you guys go. I don't know. My reviews are ridiculously long now. I'm sorry. But I just want to get everything out. Follow me on everything. All social media platforms. The end of this video will show you where I can be found. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. BunnyLove29. Thanks so much for watching. And later, y'all.